Hi, I'm Dr. Nadine Hamilton. Welcome to Positive Psych Solutions. Some of you have already met me before. You might have attended some of my workshops or heard me at different presentations that I've given. You may have read my books, but this is an opportunity to just tell you a little bit about my background and explain why I'm doing the things that I'm doing, I guess, sort of what's led to this part of my journey for me. And I'll try and keep it really brief because, as I said, some of you have already heard this story, but this is just an opportunity for those of you who are new to Positive Psych Solutions. You might be new to ThriveEssence and just want to know a little bit more about who is the person behind the brand. That's me. So, I am a registered psychologist and I started studying psychology a very long time ago, right back in 1996. I studied part time, so it was a bit of a long term strategy for me to be able to get my degree. So, it took me roughly 10 years, I think, from the time I started my undergraduate to getting my postgraduate qualifications and becoming fully registered. So prior to that, though, I was a high school dropout. Uh, Many people might find it hard to believe, but I talked a lot in school. And I even have school reports that say, Nadine would do much better if she just stopped talking. Nadine needs to stop talking and start listening. And I think that was just a lot of my learning style. It didn't really interest me being at school. I didn't understand a lot. I didn't learn by just listening. I learned by reading and doing and being very kinesthetic. So that whole dynamic of school didn't really sit well with me, I guess, and my personality. So I failed all of my school exams. I left at 15 and entered the workforce. Uh, Fast forward from then, I knew I always wanted to study something, but just didn't know what it was. I was always drawn to the same area when I went into the library or if I would go into different bookstores. I realized later on, that's another long story, but I realized later on that it was psychology. That was the name of the things that I was really, really interested in. And that started my journey. Part of my journey also was due to one of my beautiful cousins back in the UK, where I was born, took his own life, and I decided that I wanted to focus on suicide prevention. I did change track along the way. I focused predominantly on organizational psychology, training and development. That's kind of the area that I really feel passionate about. But because I wanted to be a veterinarian when I was younger, my journey kind of came full circle, synchronistically, however you want to put it. And that was when I decided to do my doctoral research into veterinarian suicide. And without kind of making this video a little bit doom and gloom, unfortunately, that is the reality that veterinarians do have a very high rate of suicide. And I wanted to research that and address it and do something about it. And that was where my doctoral research started right back in 2009. And I completed it in 2016, hence my doctor title. So I have a Doctor of Education degree. Who would have thought from the high school dropout to now? So if anything, the message or one of the messages that I have is to never give up hope. If I can do it from a 15-year-old high school dropout that talked way too much, I still may talk a lot, but that's just me, to being able to get my doctorate. I've published two books. I have co-authored a journal that has been published. I've been a keynote speaker. Um, I set up a charity for veterinarians and vet nurses, so generally for the veterinary profession, created a paradigm shift, in the veterinary industry. So I have done a lot in that space. And my message isn't about, look at me, I want all the accolades, because I personally think I'm very humble with that side of things, but it is to demonstrate, that determination, the optimism, 100%. My name means hope, so I guess I was always destined for it. To never give up, follow your dreams, set those small goals to be able to accomplish those things that you desire. I have owned and run my own private practice since 2010 or 2011, I think. It's been that long now, I can't remember. I have worked in lots of different jobs, have a lot of different experience in different roles, but underlying all of that, well-being is the core of what I do. Well-being is something I'm really passionate about. Self-care. I wrote a book on self-care, The Clever Self-Care Guide. So that is kind of part of who I am. I am a very positive, very optimistic person. So when positive psychology kind of became really well known, of course, I just flocked to it like a duck to water, as they would say. Absolutely loved it, and still do. So my whole journey from working with the veterinary profession in suicide prevention, obviously that was a very heavy area. I worked in private practice, I had clients, very traumatic situations, obviously, with a lot of clients. It was quite a heavy area, and holding space for someone else does take a lot of work. And I think it takes certain kind of people to be able to do that, particularly when you're going through things of your own. Over the years, I've lost so many friends and family that I can't keep count of. This year, so it's 2025 as I record this, my amazing, most beautiful dad passed away in March. There's been a lot of grief and loss, but throughout that, I have remained resilient. I have remained optimistic. I've allowed myself to grieve. And obviously, as a psychologist, I have the benefit of having those strategies to know how to deal with things, how to recognize it. But I am still human. So it doesn't mean it doesn't affect me. I guess I just have different ways of being able to cope with that. Another thing that a lot of people may not realize is I am a very spiritual person. I have I'd say maybe the last 10 years or so, I've always known that I have had some gift, but it was confirmed, yeah, within the last 10 years that I have the ability or the gift, whichever way you like to look at it, as a psychic medium. So I can communicate with the other side. I did a lot of readings with people, and I know some people might go, oh, that's way too woo woo. And, I could look at that as a psychologist and say, well, where's the science? Where's the evidence behind it? But I know what I do. I know what other mediums do. That's not to say that every medium or psychic is necessarily authentic, but the ones that I know, and I've taught with some of them, like learnt from some of them. I've had readings and done workshops with a lot of them. There are a lot of really authentic mediums out there. And when I do a reading, it's like, how could I possibly know? I've read for people around the world. How could I possibly know anything about someone who might be, in a country that I've never even heard of? I don't know these people. All I know is their name and an email address. That's about it. So I feel very, very blessed that I also have that gift. And so I have that ability to be very intuitive. I am incredibly empathic. So I have to protect my own energy a lot, because I do pick up on that. But I wanted to find a way to sort of step out of the role of that really heavy psychology and trauma into my true being, into my true self, that well-being, that optimistic side. And that was where ThriveEssence came along and was evolved. I have blended psychological well-being. So obviously one of the things that I am hugely passionate about. I also have certifications. I have a diploma in feng shui. So I absolutely love feng shui. And I absolutely am a huge, huge, huge supporter of the law of attraction. So I wanted to find a way, because I feel that well-being, it's not just your psychological well-being, your environment, the energy, of the environment that you're in also plays a huge part. Energetically, there can be a lot of things going on in our bodies that may need shifting. It's not just always in our mind. So I found a way to create those three things. So three of the things that I am most passionate about, I was able to embed them into a brand new movement, which is called ThriveEssence. It's kind of like the essence of thriving. What is it to thrive? What do we need to be able to truly thrive? So it does blend those three things. And I personally believe it is the next paradigm in wellbeing, particularly for the veterinary industry, but not limited to it, because the strategies are holistic. They can be applied across the board, no matter where you are, no matter what your profession, what your age, they can be applied across the board. And I will be sharing more about ThriveEssence as we go, in these video series. You can also find out a lot more on my website, which is listed on the bottom of my screensaver here, www.positivepsychsolutions.com.au. You can also get there through www.thriveessence.com.au. So if you look on my website, you'll find that I explain a lot more about ThriveEssence, which is my predominant methodology that I am using at the moment because I'm just so passionate about it. I believe in it. I practice it. I've lost, I think I last counted 5 close family members within the last 3 years. That's not something that's really easy to go through. I've had to move house countless times, twice in 2 weeks over Christmas in 2024. So there's been a lot of stress and a lot of pressure on myself and my family, but we've got through it. And it's these kind of strategies, like I credit the strategies of ThriveEssence. I practice what I preach, that have helped me to get through it. And I want to be able to share that with you so that they can help you as well, because it's about living the life you love, really living that good life and being the best that you can be, despite whatever else might be going on in your life, how to really manifest that life you love. So I hope that you do continue to watch through the series of videos, that you keep in tune with or in touch with the channel, subscribe, you'll get and hit the notification button and you'll get the notifications as new videos are uploaded. I do offer complimentary 10 to 15 minute clarity calls. So if you do have any questions or want to know about any of the programs or any of the services that I provide, then please just get in touch. Contact me through the website. There's a contact form there. And I really look forward to the opportunity of potentially working with you at some point, or you taking some of my courses, reading the books, and also just being able to share the message, getting ThriveEssence out there. Thank you for watching, and I really look forward to what ThriveEssence can do for you, for me, and for everyone globally. I'll see you next time. Bye.